Now we're going to learn a lot about Juan Soto.
Perfect.
Because yesterday I told you guys it was really exciting. The Nats spring training game was on ESPN, and it's just such a cool opportunity because, of course, it has a national appeal. They did play the Mets. I did think there was biased coverage over the Mets, but that's a story for another time. They started off. It was really cool because they had the game in one screen, and then they were doing interviews with players and some of the coaches all throughout the game. Little distracting, but it's spring training. They don't count. But of course, they started off with Juan Soto. He was on camera before we showed one of my favorite clips of him. He was on camera, I believe, for about at least 10 minutes. He was not dressed up for the game. It looked like he was either from his hotel room or his apartment or wherever, talking to the ESPN commentators. And one thing to note, of course, he's an incredible baseball player. He's a young man. He's still a rookie. I remember 2 years ago when I was down in spring training with a media credential, his English was such that like the media did not talk to him. It was broken. I heard him speaking in Spanish to another player, Robles, and I know enough Spanish to kind of pick up on what they were talking about because all the reporters were in the clubhouse and they were kind of like left out of that. So he encouraged Robles, was a mentor to Robles to encourage him to speak English and learn English. And the fact that Juan Soto was on ESPN and on a national stage talking to reporters, through a Zoom call, which is, we already know how awkward that can be, was incredible. I mean, he has just come so far as a sort of a face of the team and a fun guy, getting to see his personality, kind of like off the field. So this clip that I pulled of him, it talks about his dance moves.
Is it bachata? Is it merengue? Is it salsa? Is it reggaeton? What do we have?
I try to do everything. I don't care. If it's salsa in the speaker, I dance salsa. If it's bachata, merengue, whatever, I try.
How cute is he?
Oh my gosh.
And he was like that during the whole interview. He was just delightful.
I feel like a lot of athletes, and more so now, but also not so much, don't show their personalities, right? And I feel like as fans, we're craving for them to show their personalities, and a lot of them don't, even with social media. I don't know if it's like within the organization or they just like are afraid they're going to get in trouble. So I appreciate that because you don't see that a lot from athletes, even given everything with social media and the access that we have to them. Yep. That's adorable.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And he's on Twitter and he's on Instagram, but it very rarely posts. Like a lot of the players. I'm trying to think. The most active player that the Nats had, he's no longer with the team. Sean Doolittle and his wife were very active on social media, and they used it for good. I mean, they are very opinionated young couple, and they work directly with a lot of causes. So they Doolittle's wife used to be I think she worked on one of the late night shows as a writer, so she has like this sassy, witty tone to her. Mm-hmm. They're still on Twitter.
I know.
Follow them.
It's not the same. They're not here.
I know.
I mean, not that we're gonna like hang out because it's a pandemic, and also like we're not real life friends, but otherwise we would be hanging out all the time. If it wasn't for those two things, we would be like BFFs.